Hey nerds, Bevan here. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, which means it's hashtag WCW, which means today I'm talking about World Championship Wrestling. For those of you who weren't watching professional wrestling back in the 90s, World Championship Wrestling was both the best and the worst wrestling company going that whole decade. I personally have a lot of personal attachment to WCW, and I talk about it pretty much anytime wrestling comes up in conversation. But today, with it being hashtag WCW, I want to talk about the 5 WCW wrestlers I want wrestling figures of. Now, of course, I'm talking about the Elite line from Mattel Toys, and I talk about those guys on here all the time. I did another countdown a while ago about the current figures that are out that I want, but today I want to talk about what Mattel should make for me. So Mattel's pretty much got most of the heavy hitters out of the way for WCW, but there's still a few that are missing. The easy one, and I don't even want to include it on this list because it's so obviously going to happen with him signing with WWE last year, but Goldberg, duh. Now I know Mattel has a Goldberg figure / wrestling ring playset up for pre-order right now, but he's got a lot of gray in his beard, so I think it's actually a 2016 version of the character, but I'm talking 1998, son. Probably my most desired set would be the Steiner brothers. They are my favorite tag team of all time, and Jax put out a Rick Steiner in their Classic Superstars line, but since Scotty has been signed with TNA for the last 10 years, he hasn't had a figure released. But I want classic 1990s fluorescent singlet Steiner brothers. You can also give me a blonde-haired Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, because I need that too. One of the biggest stars to come out of WCW who wasn't a star in WCW is Chris Jericho. This guy ran the Cruiserweight division for a while. He's a former TV champion. He may even have won the US title once or twice there. I don't think he did though, so I might even cut that out, but probably not. But Chris Jericho, in retrospect, is a huge part of what WCW was in the 90s. A couple years ago, at the San Diego Comic-Con I think it was, or maybe it was a Toy Fair convention, Mattel put out an exclusive figure of the Shockmaster. And while I'm too young to really appreciate the Shockmaster for all of its campy value, there are some wicked characters from the mid to late 90s. I want Glacier, I want Mortis, I want Wrath. Because there was a while there that WCW had like their Mortal Kombat division, and these guys were like the pinnacle of that. I'm realizing now that I've already put myself over 5, so I'm just going to keep listing wrestlers that I want toys of. They recently released a 3-pack commemorating Bash at the Beach 1996, and it gave you Lex Luger, Randy Savage, and Sting all in their face paint gear from that event. And we got plenty of Stings, we got plenty of Macho Mans, but we don't really have any Lex Lugers. We have the Narcissist and the Lex Express version from WWF, but I want 2 Lex Lugers from WCW. I want the plain black tights and white boots and the flowing hair. But then I also need my Wolfpack version when he wrestled in black boots and black jeans for some reason. And just to emphasize the fact he's Wolfpack, you gotta give him the t-shirt that's red with the black wolf head on it. Now let's not forget WCW's Cruiserweight division, which not even comparable to 205 Live today. And that is not a shot at the guys on 205 Live, because those guys work fucking hard. Now they've already released a Rey Mysterio and a Dean Malenko, but there's so many more that need to be made. Juventud Guerrera, Psychosis, La Parka, Prince Iakea, Alex Wright. I want all of these guys. And they've also released an Eddie Guerrero from that era, but let's get Chavo Guerrero in there. Now, to the best of my knowledge, they've only released one WCW Ric Flair, and that was in a 4-pack with Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and Barry Windham. But the fucking thing didn't even come with a robe. I need me a Ric Flair in a robe. That's what I need. Let's see, who else was a big deal when I was a kid? Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster from the Dungeon of Doom. he was a pretty big deal. He never won many titles, but he had like some pretty memorable feuds with Hulk Hogan and Chris Benoit. I also kind of want a Chris Benoit, but I know it's never going to get made. And probably the biggest thing we are missing from WCW, besides Goldberg, is Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Now I understand the sex tape dropped and the racism bomb dropped and all that stuff, but like this is something I need, you guys. There's a toy company called Storm Collectibles. They just put out a $60 version of Hollywood Hulk Hogan, and yeah, it looks amazing. It looks like it fits in pretty well with the Mattels, but I want something that's actually from Mattel so that I don't have to like need to upgrade everything if Storm Collectibles starts putting out a bunch of characters. But I want to hear from my fellow WCW lovers. Who is a character from WCW that you need in your wrestling figure collection that's not already in there? Also, comment below who I'm missing. I know I rambled on for I don't know how long about characters and just listing off names, but tell me who I'm missing. I'm sure I'm missing a couple. If I listed a name of a wrestler that you need in your wrestling figure collection, hit that like button. And if you aren't already, I'd really love if you guys could subscribe to my channel. I put out a couple of videos every week, and it's usually about toys and or wrestling. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at BevanBoychuk. And until next time, folks, I am out like a light.